Well, I grew up pretty rough. I grew up down in North St. Louis. Gangs, drugs, fighting. I made it my point to continue to stay in the gym, go to school, graduate, become something in life, because most of the people around me wasn't becoming anything. A lot of people didn't make it out, but I did. I would rather be here because this is where champions are made. The sweat smell, the smell of leather, dirty ring, dirty floor. I came from nothing to something. I didn't have any state of art, anything to become champion. I don't need it now. I'm my own worst critic. Each fight that I have, I study myself and I go back and see what I could have did. It's gonna be an exciting fight. You have two guys that's determined not to lose, determined to go to the next level. I'm a throwback fighter. I'll fight anybody. It's just another fight that I gotta get past to solidify myself to get to the point where I wanna be. One of the top fighters, pound for pound, and Hall of Fame.
Beautiful night here in Brooklyn on a December evening, and you have to remember, Alexander did seem headed to pound-for-pound status before being derailed by Timothy Bradley, and that is still his only loss. Alexander looking to increase his standing, perhaps move to the head of the line in the Floyd Mayweather sweepstakes, but he's got a real challenge ahead tonight. Cleveland's Shawn Porter always brings it. He is yet to be beaten and is looking for a chance to step up as well into the elite of the division. Back ringside tomorrow.
All right, Brian, we are set for the welterweight championship bout. It is scheduled for 12 rounds inside the ring. The challenger, 26-year-old Shawn Porter, undefeated, looking to make the most of the opportunity afforded him. The 5-year pro gets his first world title shot with a record of 22-0-1 with 14 wins inside the distance. And making his way to the ring now, entering the squared circle, the champion, and in one of the sport's most loaded divisions, Devon Alexander is still trying to remove the stain of the Timothy Bradley loss, but it isn't for a lack of trying. He was supposed to face the highly touted Kell Brook in his last outing. Brook withdrew due to injury. And Amir, there was talk that he would be facing you tonight. Why didn't that fight come to fruition?
Well, you know, it just didn't happen. There was a lot of talk about the fight happening. I would love to have fought Devon. I think Devon is a great fighter. Boxing styles make fights, and what a style it would have been. But you know, I'm looking at bigger fights in the future, and I know that, you know, there's always talk about the Floyd Mayweather fight happening. I'm in a great position of maybe getting that fight in the future. So, you know, that's the reason. Alexander will always be there. So don't get me wrong. I would love that fight against Alexander, you know, in the near future.
All right, so we are set for this championship belt. Let's go to the tail of the tape.
These two fighters. In Porter's case, he's always looking up at his opponent, and in this case, he is looking up at the 5'8" 8.5" Devon Alexander, and he's going to have to get on the inside. Porter is to make this an effective fight. Alexander will try and make him pay as he does it.
All right, here's Jimmy Lennon Jr. with the official introductions.
Well, fans, from Barclays Center here in Brooklyn, New York, we present our next World Championship attraction, brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions and Showtime, sponsored by Corona, La Cerveza Más Fina, AT&T, Rethink Possible, Grudge Match, Grudgment Day is Christmas Day, starring Robert De Niro and Sylvester Stallone, and Casamigos Tequila, brought to you by those who drink it. This bout is sanctioned by the IBF President Daryl Peoples, Supervisor Luke Pryluker. Introducing our three judges scoring this bout from ringside. From West Nyack, New York, Julie Letterman. From Bronx, New York, Waleska Roldan. And from Lawnside, New Jersey, John Stewart. A referee in charge of the bout, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Harvey Dock. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue trunks with gold trim, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada by way of Cleveland, Ohio. He weighed in at 146 3/4 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 22 wins, no losses, 1 draw, with 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making his first attempt at a world title, ladies and gentlemen, here is the undefeated IBF number 6 ranked world contender, introducing Showtime, Shawn Porter.
It's showtime. It's showtime, baby.
And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with red trim, fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri. He weighed in at 146 1/2 pounds with a record of 25 wins and 1 loss. He has 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former 140-pound world champion, and tonight making the second defense of his current title, introducing the IBF welterweight champion of the world, introducing Devon Alexander the Great. Once again, a referee in charge, Harvey Dock, now to give instructions.
Both trunk levels are good. We went over the instructions earlier. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck.
Referee Harvey Dock will be presiding over this welterweight championship tilt. Alexander coming off a 7th-round TKO win against late substitute Lee Purdy in his last fight in May, despite breaking his left hand in the first round. He says it's all healed. And Porter, he's coming off a 10-round unanimous decision win in the rematch against former 2-time IBF lightweight champion Julio Diaz in September. They fought to a draw last December. The bell in round 1 scheduled for 12 for Devon Alexander's welterweight championship. Alexander in the black with red, Porter in the navy blue with gold.
We saw Alexander, of course, against Purdy be very, very aggressive. And he said there are some people you have to be aggressive against and come forward. And he did that against Lee Purdy. Will he do it against Porter? It looks like he's beginning to do that. Maybe trying to take the play away from Porter, who we expect to be aggressive.
Immediately Porter going on the attack, smothering the champion along the ropes. Alexander from the southpaw stance, coming forward with the straight left. Porter has his dad, Ken, in the corner. Standout amateur career, 2008 U.S. Olympic alternate, and has trained many rounds with the likes of Manny Pacquiao and other great fighters.
Yeah, the sparring that he had against Pacquiao, against obviously a lefty of renown, they think is a big part of what might make him prepared for this, Shawn Porter.
Well, I can definitely talk about that, because I was also in the gym when they used to spar, and Porter used to put on a great performance against Manny Pacquiao, who also was a southpaw. So I think it'll be a good fight. He knows how to deal with the southpaw.
Yeah, you were there to see all that. Yeah.
And Porter's also trained with Adrian Broner, who will defend his welterweight title 1 week from tonight against Marcos Maidana in the main event of our final show of the year from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas.
So far, Porter's been able to get on the inside, but he hasn't given himself enough punching room, and Alexander's tied him up when he's gotten in there.
Straight left hand by the champion as Porter again clinches. Doc intervenes.
Both fighters are quick. They got hand speed. That was a good shot.
Nice combination there.
Overhand right by Porter, and that's the punch that Tim Bradley landed from time to time against Alexander. And they called Tim Bradley and Joel Diaz, the trainer of Bradley, they added some consultation to the corner with Porter and his dad in getting ready for this fight.
Let him go, let him go.
And that's Porter ripping the body.
Alexander has recorded 3 first-round knockouts compared to 7 first-round KOs for the challenger Showtime. Shawn Porter, great combination there before they come to a clinch as Alexander attacking the head. There's a left hook to the body by Porter on the exit. 15 seconds left in the first frame. So good start to this welterweight championship bout between the champion Alexander, the challenger Porter.
Shawn Porter had an important moment in round one, feinting with the jab and coming with both the left and the right hand. That was a very effective move by this young man. Let's take a look at what each man probably needs to do in terms of the keys to victory. I think he's got to counter effectively when Porter's coming in. He didn't get to do that in the first round and control the distance. He actually didn't do that either, even though Porter wasn't effective on the inside. He's got a terrific left uppercut. That punch could be a huge weapon in this fight. As for Shawn Porter, push the pace. He did that very well in round one. Sometimes he squares up and will make himself an inviting target against the lefty. He didn't do that too much in the first round and make it messy. Yeah, that's what he's got to do, and he did that to a great degree in round one.
Set for round two here at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Welterweight championship bout. Devon Alexander, who is the champion, has been knocked down once in his career. Flash knockdown against Lucas Matisse, while Porter has yet to be put on his butt in this, his 24th professional fight. Again, Porter initiating the attack. Double jab by Porter.
Porter's doing something very interesting in this round. He's changing the pace. Sometimes he's moving back, and then sometimes he's moving forward, and it's a pretty interesting move.
Attacking the body. Minute gone in the second round.
You know, I've been watching back at, you know, a lot of Alexander's fights, and what gives him problems is hand speed. I mean, look, if you look back at when he fought against Bradley, now, you know, you can see Shawn with hand speed also causing big problems and catching him with shots he's not seeing.
You're known for your hand speed as well, Mr. Khan.
Only a little bit.
Yeah, Porter's throwing combinations and getting a few of them in.
Oh, there's a straight left by Alexander as Porter quickly clinches. A minute and a half gone in the second stanza.
And Porter got a nice left hook in that exchange as well. So both men are doing some good work here.
You can see a little bit of a bruise swelling on right eye of Alexander.
He's been hit with some of those hooks. Shawn Porter is not fighting a one-dimensional fight, and I think they might have thought he was going to, or some people might have thought it. He's moving backwards, Alexander's coming forward, and then he'll start his rushes like that. Even though he's on the inside and it's awkward, he's still getting the better of those exchanges.
Digging away at the body with a couple of right hands was Porter, but very quick on his feet, utilizing his footwork.
Shawn's putting a great fight on, you know, and this is his first world title fight. This is the biggest fight of his life.
Yeah, looks very composed. Alexander flashes the jab, but again at close quarters, digging away to the body with the lefts. Or Porter, and then Alexander responds with lefts of his own.
And Devon has gotten his share of shots. It's just that he's kind of been pushing forward, and again, like Trout, that's not necessarily his modus operandi.
Lead left hook by Porter on Alexander connects with 10 seconds left in the second round. So a spirited affair to get things started for Alexander's welterweight championship. All right, let's go to Jim Gray standing by with the Magic Man.
Yesterday in the fighter meeting, what you felt. I know you've won several championships, but this is the biggest fight of your career. Why did you say that?
Well, the next one is always the biggest one, and you know, this one leads to a lot of big things. You know, it's not a world championship on the line, but Zab Judah is a formidable foe, ex-world champion. So I think a win over a guy like this puts me in a position to get a big fight.
You've never lost to a southpaw. Why have you been so effective?
I don't know. You know, I haven't lost any amateurs or the pros to a southpaw. You know, I make a couple of adjustments, and they've seemed to work in the past. So we'll see how things work out tonight.
When you go into a fight and you know that so much is on the line, do you think about what would happen if you lost that it might be the end of your career?
I don't really think about things like that during camp. You know, sometimes during the off time, I'll give some thought to things like that and be like, I wonder, you know, what my future is. But once training camp starts and we're preparing for a fight, you know, the mentality changes and it's kind of full speed ahead, and that's kind of how it's been this camp.
You've been watching all these fights. Do you miss talking?
You know, I never miss talking, man. I always get enough of it.
We'll talk to you afterwards. Good luck, Paulie.
Thanks.
All right, Jim Paulie will be doing the talking with his gloves as Alexander gets staggered from that right hand by Porter to kick off round 3.
You know, he hurt Alexander with that right hand there and putting the pressure on. It's another good shot.
And a furious exchange here as Porter on the attack. Alexander wanting to close the gap and clinch. And the referee, Harvey Dock, forced to intervene, but a good start for the challenger. We talk about Porter's sparring partners. One of his main sparring partners for this particular camp is the new junior middleweight champion Demetrius Andrade, fresh off his November victory against Vanes Martirosyan. So they brought Andrade, who Porter defeated in the amateur ranks, to Las Vegas to train with him. And man, the training camp thus far seems to have paid off, Al.
Well, Porter's landing some big power punches and shown the ability to stun Devon Alexander. Remember, Alexander went down when Matisse, who was of course a huge puncher, hit him, but he was able to come back. So Devon Alexander's resilient.
Yeah, especially in this round.
So Harvey Dock, the referee, warning both fighters of their holding tactics, and yet they hold them right away.
Sorry, I was saying.
Go ahead, Amir.
Yeah, I was just saying, you can see Shawn now getting quite confident, this round, coming in this round. He's throwing more shots, he's putting the pressure on, and I think he's felt the power of Alexander's and probably thinking, he's not hurting me, so I'm going to start throwing my big bombs.
Minute and a half remaining in the third round. Porter attacking the body, and again, referee Dock warning Alexander about holding as Alexander again goes on the attack.
Porter with free hands going to the body there.
Oh, a counter left hook lands by the champion, Alexander. And now just a furious exchange as they again clinch, but they're looking to punch out.
The big issue here is that Devon Alexander hasn't been able to counter quite as effectively as he would like as Porter comes in. And Porter's staking out that territory in the inside.
Let him go, Devon. Let him go.
Right hand over the top by Porter.
Devon Alexander's trying to let Porter go. Porter's doing a lot of that holding on the inside.
And a left hook connects by Porter, bobbing and weaving as the champion. Alexander again gets tagged with a left hook to the side of the face, but comes back. So Porter really tagging the champion in this fight thus far, Amir.
Definitely, great performance by both fighters. I mean, they are getting hurt. They're both being wobbled in this round. And what a big round it's been for both of them.
So Alexander and Porter throwing bombs here in Brooklyn as we go to round 4.
Early in that last round, Porter was able to land this overhand right. It's actually a very straight right hand, in fact. And that stunned Alexander early in the round. And then we talked about Alexander trying to land the uppercut on the inside. Here, we see him try to counter, but it just misses. He was able to get the straight left in. That's not his big punch, though. And then later on in the round, we will see Porter again land something significant. 2 left hooks. The second one stunned Alexander, at least momentarily. And even though Devon's still punching, you could see that this has evolved into a slugging match.
Get him. Watch your holding, Dad. You're holding too much.
The beginning of round 4, Showtime Shawn Porter has faced 2 southpaws in his career. Ray Robinson, who was 5'10", Russell Jordan was 6'2", both taller than Alexander, but nowhere near the level of the welterweight champion. Alexander pawing away with the jab. There's the jab that sticks by Porter.
Just starting out that round, you hear the referee saying to Alexander, you're holding too much. So I think he wants a cleaner fight, but at the moment, I think he needs to start getting his jab a little bit more and start boxing, because he is making it a little messy.
I say break. Listen to me when I say break.
The total power punches, we saw them a moment ago, indicate that Porter's getting the job done there, but it's not as if Alexander's not landing some.
There's blood underneath the right eye of the champion, Devon Alexander. And he gets tagged with another stiff jab. Left hook by Porter. Alexander again going to the body, but Harvey Dock very busy so far in this fight.
Devon Alexander is fighting an uncharacteristic fight. Normally, he would be a boxer puncher. He came right out and slugged with Shawn Porter, and it has not served him very well so far. And I know Kevin Cunningham, the trainer of Alexander, felt that Alexander would be landing a lot of counter punches as Porter came in.
Porter lands another nifty jab, 1-2 combination, and now a firefight breaking out here as again they clinch. Alexander initiating it after Porter tagged him again. Good head movement by Porter.
Yeah, good clean combination from Porter. I mean, Porter's got the game plan right in this fight. You know, he's throwing the right shots at the right time and being very patient in between as well.
This fight is actually looking a little bit like the Bradley-Alexander fight, except Porter's actually landing even better. And the Porter jab has been a revelation in this fight. Usually against the lefty, you're not going to land it as much. He's landing it a lot.
And looking back at Shawn Porter's last fight, you know, against Diaz, and the one before that, you know, he had a lot of problems in them fights. And styles do make fights, and I think, you know, this is the right style.
Right, against Diaz, the jab was almost non-existent. Here, it's become a force.
The jab is, you know, being a good shot for him and giving him a lot of success.
15 seconds left in the fourth frame. A terrific tussle thus far for Alexander's welterweight championship. Final 10 seconds now. Again, bobbing and weaving is the challenger Porter as we go to round 5.
Possible this is where the cut developed. Shawn Porter again using that laser-like jab that he's landed and the straight right hand. So he has shown the hand speed that Amir referenced that has given Devon Alexander a big problem in this fight. And you know, I haven't seen that. I don't believe that cut came from a clash of heads. I think it came from those jabs, and that was where Devon Alexander was brushing at it.
Let's turn this shit around.
Round 5 underway here in Brooklyn for Alexander's welterweight championship against a very tough challenger in Shawn Porter. Undefeated. Started boxing at the tender age of 4 and had an outstanding amateur career with a record of 262-14. Was an alternate on the 2008 U.S. Olympic boxing team, and now going on the attack again.
Alexander's been cut in 4 of his 7 most recent fights, and now he can make it a 5th. So it's becoming a chronic issue for him, and it's become an issue tonight.
You know, and being a fighter, I mean, when you see, you know, if I was in the same position as Shawn Porter, when you see somebody cut, that kind of gives you that little drive to get in there and get stuck in a little bit more and put the pressure on. And you see, you know, in the last 1 or 2 rounds, you see Porter putting the pressure on a little bit more, throwing more shots and being more active.
Another stiff jab by Porter as we are in the first of our 2 big welterweight fights here tonight. The main event still to come, the Battle of Brooklyn. And of course it leads to our Twitter hashtag battle. Who was tonight's most impressive welterweight? We ask you to get that involved after the fights are over tonight. You can make your pick by voting on Twitter, hashtag Judah, hashtag Malignaggi, hashtag Alexander, or hashtag Porter. We will have the results after the 2 welterweight bouts.
And here's the really bad news for Devon Alexander. Normally, he gets much better work done in the first 6 rounds of a fight than he does in the last 6. So he has to hope that that gets reversed in this match.
Digging away to the body is Alexander as again they are broken up by referee Harvey Dock. But man, Porter immediately jumps on Alexander again, Amir.
Yeah, you know, I was at the fighters meeting and we was having a chat, and I did tell a lot of people that, you know, you can't underestimate Shawn Porter. He's a good boxer, fights really well against southpaw fighters, and you know, he's showing what he does best here in the ring. Putting a great performance on. I mean, beating Devon, and a lot of people were saying Devon is the faster fighter, but he's beating Devon to the punch.
And in this round, Devon Alexander has done a bit better. He's landed some more counter punches and has been a little more precise with his punches. We'll see if it's a mini comeback for him and what it can mean in the coming rounds.
Trying to establish that right jab is Alexander, landed a straight left, and
Stay off his head, stay off his head.
they are broken up again. And now Alexander wanting to throw a flurry of punches. Porter going to the body as he bull rushes Alexander to the ropes. 15 seconds left in the 5th frame.
Much better round for Alexander.
So as we head to the 6th round of this welterweight fight, still to come, it's the Battle of Brooklyn, and Jim Gray is standing by with Brownsville's Zab Judah.
All right, Mo, thank you very much. Zab, why do you plan to test him early instead of feeling him out?
No, I mean, I plan on just coming here just being Zab Judah. Being a Zab Judah, everybody know. First of all, I want to thank the Barclay because they see my pants falling down earlier, so they made me a belt. So now I got to keep my pants up because I got a Brooklyn belt.
Let me ask you about, you said in our meeting that you have no risk here because he only has 7 knockouts. Explain what you mean by that.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, this is boxing. Everybody know that when you're in boxing, you got certain punches. Guys like Mike Tyson, you keep your hands up high and you keep your body tucked low. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when you got guys like, you know, Paulie, you know, because he's not a big aggressive puncher, you tend to, you know, take a little more chances. And when you take a little more chances, sometimes that hook and left hand back and never hook back, sometimes we get the job done.
Brownsville against Bensonhurst. Is that all that needs to be said?
Listen, all you got to say, MOP, Jay-Z, Brownsville forever. Y'all know what it is.
We'll talk to you after the fight. Best of luck, Zab.
Let's go.
All right, Mo, out to you.
All right, Jim, treated to the comedic stylings of Super Zab and Judith. He gets set for the Battle of Brooklyn, still to come in our main event as we begin round 6 here as Alexander and Porter vie for the welterweight title.
Who is more entertaining than Paulie Malignaggi and Zab Judah together promoting a fight? They have been funny, interesting, and just intense enough leading into this fight. A stark contrast to Paulie's last fight against Broner.
Speaking of intense, Porter very intense in his pursuit of the title.
Yeah, exactly. Now you see Alexander coming forward now and putting a little bit of pressure on because he knows that, you know, he has to. I mean, he needs to throw more punches because at the moment he's falling behind, and you know, we're already in round 6 now, and he can't let any more, you know, rounds get ahead of him.
Unofficial scoring for our Showtime crew.
Yeah, I thought he had a very good round in the last round, and Amir and I both have it 49-46 for Porter, but Steve has a wider margin. Steve, you didn't give a round yet to Devon Alexander.
I haven't, Alan. Shawn Porter, for the last 3 or 4 fights, he keeps getting better and better. He's really on the improve. He's always been a good athlete. He's always had the quickness. Now he's combining it with good timing, changing in tactics. And Devon Alexander, I don't know that he's a big enough puncher to turn it around, especially given the fact that Porter has an excellent chin.
Yeah, very good point. And nobody knows Shawn Porter better than Steve, who's chronicled his career on Showbox. And so that was a good scouting report.
Porter also recently adding infamous founder of Balco, Victor Conti, to his crew. He, of course, has become an outspoken advocate of clean sports who found a second career and has helped Porter in his last couple of fights.
He's worked with a number of fighters,
yes.
And of course his past was not the best, but he claims that he's cleaned things up and that he wants a clean sport.
Yeah, I saw while I was in San Francisco training in a mini camp. I did meet Shawn Porter there, and he did tell me that he's going to start working with Victor and doing some work. So, you know, he's working on strength and conditioning as well.
Alexander actually spent some time with him as well as they continue to go toe-to-toe here in round 6. 45 seconds left, and they are just throwing punches and bunches at each other.
And the right hook of Alexander now is getting to be a weapon. And let me tell you, that punch has some pop in it.
Left hook connects by Porter, digging away at the body with the right hand before being broken up by the referee. Final 30 seconds of a sterling 6th.
This fight has turned into, it's been an action fight. And this round, I think, is a very important round. And it's been a close one.
Now Alexander walking down. Porter comes forward with the right hand. Alexander ducks underneath. So we are heading into the second half of this welterweight championship bout. It has been a terrific tilt thus far here in Brooklyn. And Danny Garcia, the undefeated 140-pound champion, coming off the biggest win of his career, defeating Lucas Matisse and Amir, one of the brightest stars in the sport.
Yeah, you know, Danny Garcia had a great performance in his last fight against Lucas Matisse, where a lot of people were thinking, you know, Matisse is going to walk right through him. But, you know, he put on a good boxing performance. He didn't really get involved in throwing the big bombs and just boxed smartly. I mean, had a good game plan for that fight, and he boxed really well.
And the rather subdued father, Angel Garcia.
It's because there's no microphone around. You, of course, had your sheriff run-ins with the father outside the ring and Danny Garcia inside the ring.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I mean, you know, in that fight, that could be another fight in the future in the welterweight division against Danny Garcia. But, yeah, you know, his father is very smart. He can get into a fight, his brain, kind of, you know, get him quite angry. And because when I fought Garcia, you know, I was angry from what his father was saying, and I wanted to really do a job on him. And, you know, it ended up being, you know, that didn't really happen. But, you know, he's smart. His father's a very smart guy.
Now Porter and Alexander resume their firefight here in round 7. Nice combination by the champion, Alexander.
I think that was a pivotal round in round 6. How you score that is really going to may go a long way toward determining how this fight goes, if it goes the distance.
I'm holding him, Devon.
Just very close.
I mean, Porter's jab and right-handed, you know, he's getting a lot of success with both punches. I mean, I've seen him when he fought against Diaz, he was getting very little success with that jab. But in this fight, you know, the jab is a good punch for him.
They had a brawl in the... We'll take a look at the jab numbers and see that Porter is really controlling that. And no one would have ever suggested this, I don't think, because of the fact that, as Amir said, in recent fights, Porter has not been tremendous with the jab. And tonight, he has found a home for that punch. He had a brawl in the gym with James Kirkland, who's fighting tonight against Glenn Tapia. They literally had a fight in the gym. Kirkland hit him after they touched gloves, and then he put Kirkland down, and they showed us pictures, and they had a war. And Kirkland, of course, is much bigger than Porter.
And Kirkland left that day.
Yeah, so that was one lefty he won, and tonight he's doing pretty well against this lefty.
And, you know, I remember when I was fighting for my first world title fight, you know, I mean, it does give you that buzz, it gives you that, you know, push, and I think that's what it's giving Porter. I mean, I've never seen Porter fight like this. It's like a new fighter, you know, it's giving him that confidence because he wants to be a champion that badly.
There was a nice uppercut on the inside by Alexander in another very close round. This round is a very close one.
Right hand by Alexander. And in close, they continue to batter away at each other's bodies. Good footwork by Porter, putting Alexander on the ropes, but Alexander trying to punch his way out.
That cut is bothering Alexander.
Good 1-2 combination, nice bomb and weave, good head movement by Porter, and you're right, the cut becoming a bigger concern for the champion, despite the fact that it is underneath his right eye.
A lot of blood showing on, you know, on Devon's face there. I think, you know, that's gonna, like I said, give a lot of confidence to Porter and maybe let him go for another gear.
Hold it straight. Hold it. Put your head in there. Put your head in there. Put your head in there.
The cut was not caused by a clash of heads originally, but here their heads do bang together, and then the shoulder hits the the eye, and really it was the shoulder, I think, that hit the side of the eye that made the cut worse. Here's a man that knows something about cuts. Gabe Rosado, who fought a terrific fight with Peter Quillen, but ultimately the fight was stopped on a cut. However, we will get a chance to see him against Jermell Charlo in what should be a very good middleweight fight. This guy is a fun fighter to watch.
He will be part of our first show of the new year, January 25th. Gabriel Rosado, as this fight continues for the welterweight championship. Devon Alexander with the cut around the right eye. The challenger, Shawn Porter, coming forward, attacking the body with a flurry of punches.
Keep him up, keep him up, keep him up, keep him up.
So it's feinting, and now Porter initiating the attack, and again connecting as Alexander ducks underneath that punch. Again, they're in close. They collide again in the center of the ring.
Get up his head. Stop, stop. No knockdown.
You know, Shawn Porter just boxing him now, putting a great fight on, you know, whereas Alexander, it seems to me his work rate has dropped a lot. I mean, I don't know if he's tired, or I've seen in the past few fights, towards the end of the fights, his work rate drops tremendously. I don't know what the reasons are to that, but you know, I was meant to fight him, and I was looking back at videos and stuff, and I always seen that.
Right hand by Alexander as we look at the unofficial scoring after 7 rounds.
We all have it for Shawn Porter, and Steve Farhad with a bigger margin, as Amir Khan does. I have it a little closer because I gave one of those rounds to Alexander. I thought he pushed forward and did some good work, and those 6th and 7th rounds are very important rounds in this fight.
Final minute of the 8th round, and again they are closer than conjoined twins at times here with the level of action. And now the jab and the follow-up right hand from Porter, digging away at the body. There's a left hand by Alexander. Again, they go to work on the body. 30 seconds now left in the 8th round. Digging away at the body is both the challenger Porter, the champion Alexander, and it seems like Porter getting the better of these exchanges, Amir.
Yeah, he is. You know, he's working. He's getting much more cleaner in the pocket, throwing them uppercuts. And like I said, I don't know if it's because Alexander's got that cut on his eye and he's getting blood in his eye, and he's not. You see him rubbing that eye a lot, but we don't know.
We are through 8 rounds here at Barclays Center for the IBF Welterweight Championship. And of course, you can enjoy tonight's broadcast in Espanol, courtesy of our talented duo, Alejandro Luna on your left, and the former champ, El Diamante, Raul Marquez, who also doing double duty with Showbox.
He made the long trek from Washington to here. Looks quite fresh.
Straight left hand down the front. All you gotta do is turn your hip and your shoulders, but you gotta get in range. You gotta let your jab take you there, man. And you feint your way. You just walk into this man slugging, man. You fighting his fight, bro. All right,
Trainer Kevin Cunningham telling his charge, Devon Alexander, that you are fighting Porter's fight. Amir, he wants to see more of the jab. How does he go about doing that against a guy who has proven to be a very crafty opponent thus far tonight?
Yeah, you know, I think what Alexander needs to do is he needs to feint a little bit. He's standing too straight up tall. I think that's the big problem. He needs to maybe duck down, keep his chin a little bit low, because his chin is up in there and he's just getting caught with you know, maybe keep the guard up a little bit. But you know, I mean, Shawn just done his work. I mean, he's worked so hard. You can see everywhere he's working so hard, pushing, throwing a lot of punches, a lot of combinations.
Dogged determination by the challenger, Shawn Porter.
You know, one of the problems here is that Alexander has done some good work in there, but he's fighting stylistically. He's fighting Porter's fight, as Kevin Cunningham said. That could also play a role in the judges' minds. If they say a close round, but they understand, maybe that gets in their thinking, well, Porter's the guy that usually does this well. Maybe he did better. There was a good counterpunch by Alexander. He has not countered well in this fight.
Yeah, Alexander's known as a counter fighter, as a boxer. I think in this fight, he's showing a little bit of pressure, a lot of combinations. I think if he goes back to his old self when he starts to box a little bit more, I think he'll have much more success.
Well, and the problem, of course, he's got now, if he is, there's the hook that we've been talking about. If he, in fact, is behind, it's going to be difficult for him to do that. I think Porter might have dazed him for a moment with one of those power shots.
Minute and a half left in the 9th round. Alexander walking down the challenger now, but Porter again lunges forward.
Keep him up,
Right hand to the body by Alexander.
Porter's never been 12 rounds, and so this will be a test for him. Alexander's 4-0 in 12-rounders, so we'll see if Porter can sustain this as we get into these final rounds.
Final minute of the 9th round. The jab by Alexander. Just single shooting it out. There's a lead right hand, followed by a left hook by Porter.
I think this is a better round for Alexander. You know, in the last round he looked a little flat, whereas this round he's looking a little bit more fresher.
Over here, Dad.
Timeout called by the referee.
It's accidental headbutt. You okay?
Dr. Robert Polofsky tending to the cut as a result of the accidental headbutt. So now both fighters have been cut in this fight.
And Porter has been cut 4 times before in his career, several times by clashes of heads. And we remind you that if they would go to the scorecards because of that, or if the fight was stopped because of the cut, they'd go to the scorecards. They come together, and we've seen a few clashes of heads in this fight. That's probably in that area is where it happened, and Porter got the worst of it in this instance.
Here it is.
All right, let's go to Jim Gray.
Hold this for Shawn, hold this. Shawn, listen.
All right, Mo, I spoke to Dr. Robert Polofsky. He is attending ring physician over in the red corner right now. He is looking at Porter's eye. He told me after he examined it the first time, it is a minor cut, and it is not a threat as of this time to stop the fight. That was his assessment. We'll get it again as he looks at it now. Mo?
Thanks a lot, Jim. Minor maybe, but it's in a very precarious position, not a dangerous area.
And again, if this fight is stopped because of that cut, they would go to the scorecards. Not so with Alexander's cut, because that was caused by a punch.
Bell and round 10. Devon Alexander, the champion. In the black with red trunks, the challenger, Shawn Porter, again goes on the attack to the body, sports the navy blue with gold.
Alexander only in his 4th fight at the welterweight limit. He came up from 140, and at his best, when he fought Marcos Maidana, he was a beautiful boxer puncher and was able to counterpunch and fight at long range and do well. Not so tonight against a fighter who's not that dissimilar from Maidana.
Yeah, you know, he's had great performances, beating some big names as Alexander, but styles make fights. And I've always said his speed is what causes Alexander problems. We've seen it in the past happen against Bradley, and now again, you know, speed is what's catching him and, you know, making him fall short.
Coming forward is Porter, has the champion in the corner momentarily, and again blistering attack on the body, but Alexander trying to give back as well. Lead left hand by the champ, counter left by Porter, who again digs away at the body in the clinch.
And of course, the Bradley fight was down at 140 pounds. That was before Alexander had matriculated up to 147. And I mentioned earlier that Bradley and Joel Diaz gave some advice to Porter and his dad for this fight. Kevin Cunningham was a little denigrating of that, saying, you know, that shows a sign of weakness that they were looking outside for help. But I'm not sure it didn't help them a little bit.
Now, these two did meet in the amateurs, but they were like under 10 years of age, where, let's face it, it's not even relevant, although they did make something of it, both camps.
You know, we Joe, at the beginning we were talking about Paulie and Zav and how you hate to see anybody lose. That's the way it is in this fight. Both Devon Alexander and Shawn Porter are terrific young men. They are delightful. And you almost do hate to see anybody lose, but that's what boxing is.
Final 45 seconds of the 10th round. Alexander coming forward. Rangefinder. Porter left hook to the body. Then to the other side. So Porter working over the body. Alexander targeting the head. As we go into the championship rounds, quickly, Amir, what do you think is the big adjustment both have to make?
I think it's about picking the right shots at the right time now. Now, you know, both fighters are going to be tired. It's about picking which punches they're going to throw, not wasting any shots because both of them are tired, and just making them clean and land and count.
Right.
Second, hold it down, hold on. Get them off of there. Okay, I want more right hands over the top, all right?
Morrow referenced the body work by this man, Shawn Porter.
Okay.
And we'll look at it in the middle of the last round. Porter landing combinations to the body, not just one punch, but really committing to that. And normally you would think Devon Alexander, when you throw that many power punches to the body, would have been countering him to the head. He couldn't do it. And that speaks to the quickness that Amir talked about. Porter's quickness of hand speed has really been a problem for Devon Alexander. Wow, there's quite a telling number. Speaks to what we're talking about.
So we're about to begin the first of our two championship rounds. Devon Alexander, the champion, looking to hold on to his title, but he has faced a very game challenger in Shawn Porter. Alexander with a ton more experience at world championship level, having been in there with the likes of Randall Bailey, Marcos Maidana, Timothy Bradley, Andre Kotelnik, Juan Urango, Junior Winner, DeMarcus Corley, and of course Lucas Medice.
That's a big group and a mouthful for you. And that's a good group of fighters.
Don't push, don't push.
Meanwhile, Porter came out firing in this round and had him against the ropes there and did some good work.
Don't hold it.
Those rounds, in my opinion, the last 4 or 5 rounds we've seen were fairly close. But the question is, did enough of them go to Alexander after the early onslaught by Porter?
You know, we know that when Alexander goes in the later rounds, he always slows down. But with Porter, this is the first time he's going the distance.
Yes,
so
exactly.
This is the first time he's going a 12-round distance. And at the moment, you know, he's boxing a beautiful fight.
Yeah, looks very composed, still very fresh. Of course, Alexander also, despite the cut, coming forward. Both of them still with plenty of gas left in their respective tanks, with 1:45 now left in the 11th round.
There's that uppercut from Alexander on the inside. But Shawn Porter's never been down as a pro, so he has an excellent chin, at least against the competition he's faced so far. He certainly does.
Good counter left hand by Alexander.
You know, and that's what Alexander was saying in the fighters meeting. He's going to have a lot of success with the uppercut, but at the moment, you know, he's not had any.
Yeah, well, and even when he lands it, as he did a little while ago, it's not hurting Shawn Porter. Oh,
Porter landed a couple of big shots there.
These rounds are very close. You know, right now, the running total, the show stat total, 11 connected for Alexander, 10 for Porter, and they've thrown almost the exact same number of punches. So you could see these rounds are darn close. It's just a question of whether you like the work Porter's doing or Alexander.
And they're doing a lot of the work very close.
Yeah.
So it is difficult, yeah, physically.
there's no question the tenor of the fight and the style of it has suited Porter a little better.
Right. Don't push off. Don't push off. Don't push. Don't push.
Alexander has shown a lot of toughness here, playing through the cut, the bad start, to stay right in this fight. Where he is on the scorecards is another issue.
Definitely, you know, he got the cuts in the earlier rounds and he's been going through them, so he showed a lot of heart there, you know.
Let him go in here.
So we are going to the 12th and final round. Devon Alexander defending his title against Shawn Porter. Still to come, the main event, the Battle of Brooklyn, Paulie Malignaggi and Zab Judah. But coming up after this fight, we'll have former welterweight champion Victor Ortiz join Amir Khan and our Brian Kenny for an interview. Ortiz returns to face Luis Colazzo, and he's feeling the quote-unquote love in Brooklyn tonight.
Okay? Bring it. You understand this is a championship round. You got to out-hustle him, outwork him, out-muscle him. You fresh. This is the first.
Faster, man.
Everything's good.
You're gonna have to put them shots together. You're gonna have to put them shots together, bro.
Touch him up, last round. Touch him up.
You're gonna have to put them shots together, Devon.
The bell goes, the 12th and final round underway. Devon Alexander's corner telling him he's got to put it together, while Shawn Porter, the challenger's corner, telling him he has to continue to out-hustle the champ.
Devon Alexander has had many big fights suggested. He was going to fight Kell Brook, possibly Amir Khan, and looking to bigger and better things, even rumored with Floyd Mayweather. But right now, it's all on the line. His IBF title is on the line right now. We don't know where the scoring is headed, but you know this is got to be a fight that could be slipping away from him.
And again, Porter continues to pepper him with body shots in close.
Watch your head.
They have both thrown a fair amount of punches, and you see the margin is not monstrous in terms of what's been landed. And of course, remember, it's all how those punches are positioned per round. And I think a lot of those rounds in the middle rounds got very close.
Porter continuing to smother Alexander, manhandling him along the ropes, and being warned by the referee for his physicality.
And you know, with the body shots that Porter's throwing, I think they've been a huge success for him in this fight because, you know, they've slowed Alexander down big time. I mean, Alexander normally is on his toes, but I think them body shots he's throwing has slowed him down.
Nearing the midway point of the 12th and final round, Mauro Ranallo along with Al Bernstein and Amir Khan ringside. Are we in the midst of seeing the championship change hands? Shawn Porter at 26, undefeated, coming into this, his first world championship fight against a man who has held the gold since last October, a multi-division champion, Devon Alexander, in tough here tonight.
Yet another razor-thin round in which both men have done good work.
60 seconds left in this championship bout.
Devon Alexander's big issue has been he's never controlled the geography of this fight, and that is an issue for him.
Lead right hand by Porter. 45 seconds left. Doc, the referee, getting physical, breaking them apart. And now Alexander walking down Porter.
You know, overall, it's been a great fight. I mean, both fighters, you know, deserve credit. And especially, you know, Shawn Porter for fighting his first 12-rounder, really, and, you know, making it a great performance.
Porter's beaten 2 lefties before, it might be a third.
Final 20 seconds of this championship bout. Will Devon Alexander hold on to the gold, or is showtime? Shawn Porter taking the belt back to Cleveland, Ohio. We're going to the judges' scorecards to determine the victor. And a look at Danny Jacobs, Brooklyn's own. And a top prospect in his own right. Tough night at the office for Devon Alexander as we look at the show stats.
Now, you can see there's only a 15-punch difference in terms of what was landed in this match. And again, it's where they're placed in the process of a fight. And they threw almost the exact same number of punches. But Shawn Porter controlled the way the fight was fought. How much of an impact will that have on the scoring? It was, as I suggested, one of the keys to victory early was for Porter, he needed to make it a messy fight. And it turned out to be just that. In the inside, they banged heads on a number of different occasions. Both men really, they were accidental because I don't think either man was trying to make those happen. It made it eerily, oh, there was a big one on the chin of Alexander. This fight was eerily similar to the Tim Bradley fight, unfortunately for that man, Devon Alexander. And we'll see. He may have pulled it out because a lot of those rounds were close, but right now I don't think they're feeling super confident. Either way, it was a dramatic entrance to boxing center stage for that young man, Shawn Porter.
So while we are awaiting the winner of this welterweight fight, 1 week from tonight, the welterweight championship will be up for grabs when Adrian Broner, one of boxing's brightest stars, defends his title for the first time against hard-hitting Marcos Maidana. It headlines another 4-fight night from Showtime Championship Boxing as we put the bow on what has been a spectacular year of action here on Showtime.
Hey, Chris, how hard to get both guys together? Can Harvey, the referee, get both guys together?
Talented actor Omar Epps putting in his 2 cents, saying that he is going to, and I'm talking about Adrian Broner, have problems with Maidana, and a lot of people feel that that may be the case because of the power out.
Yeah, Marcos Maidana, a big puncher. A special moment in the corner there of Shawn Porter.
All right, the championship hanging in the balance. Let's find out who will walk away with the welterweight gold. Here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. The scores as follows. Our judge at ringside, Julie Letterman, sees the bout 115 to 113. Judges Waleska Roldan and John Stewart both score the bout 116 to 112. All three in favor of the winner by unanimous decision. And the new IBF welterweight champion of the world, Showtime, Shawn Porter.
In his first world championship bout at the age of 26, undefeated Showtime Shawn Porter becomes the new IBF welterweight champion with a very spirited effort and an impressive display all around.
You know, those middle rounds in which Devon Alexander made some headway weren't enough for him to get this decision. And as exciting as this is for this young man at age 26, he and his dad sharing a very important moment, a bitter disappointment for Devon Alexander, who loses his title.
Yeah, and loses for the second time in his career. Let's go to Jim Gray with the champion.
All right, Mo, thank you very much. Shawn, congratulations. Your dad just kissed you. What does that mean to have your father with you to win your first championship and what he just said to you?
Well, you know what? If I told him not to do it, he still would. So I have to take that. That's love. That's what we have in our camp. Nothing but love. Everybody in my camp is either my brother, my cousin, or extended father. And we worked hard in camp. We put it all on the line out here tonight. I just want to thank God for this opportunity and this blessing. And also Al Heyman for helping this dream come true, and also Team Porter nonstop. Here we go.
How important was it to you to get off to such an early start and gain so much confidence, particularly in that third round?
Oh, yeah. We wanted to come out here, establish that we were the aggressive fighter, we were the dominant fighter, we were the better fighter, taking nothing from him at all, but that's what our camp was built around. was taking the fight to him and making it a hard fight. And like you said, establishing that dominance through about the third round or so. I was just able to get into my groove, do what I have to do what my corner told me to do, and we made it happen.
Why do you think that you were able to control this fight and able to set the pace and the tone?
Well, you know what? When we made the decision to move down to 147, we knew that we would always be the bigger guy in the ring. And it's not me being cocky or overconfident, but we always knew we'd be the better fighter in the ring. So I think I was able to control him just from, my experience. And then also, I'm the bigger guy. I'm the powerful fighter out here at 147. So this is it.
There's a lot of irony in this because while your dad told you in the 8th round you've paid your dues, Amir Khan was going to take this fight, and because of the circumstance that he may be looking forward to, you get your shot and now you take advantage of it. So when you find what a fragile existence this is, that you wouldn't have even had the opportunity, how does that strike you?
Well, we just sat back and we waited, man. We did what we had to do. I was 22-0 coming into the ring. Like my dad said, I paid my dues. I did what I had to do. Didn't matter how long it took. The opportunity was here. I stepped up to the plate. God bless Devon and his team, and I took the belt tonight.
Best of luck to you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Let's bring in Devon. Devon, what do you think was the difference this evening in this fight?
Well, I couldn't get off. I didn't fight as well as I was supposed to. I mean, he's coming in here, but never mind that. We got the victory. I'm disappointed, though.
How much did the eye and the cut bother you?
I was blurry on both eyes, but, this is boxing. You got to keep going and do what you got to do to win.
Devon, we talked to you yesterday, and there was so much writing on this as you look forward to possibly either Khan or Kell Brook, or you were even possibly in the Floyd mix. Did you, by chance, take this too lightly and look past Shawn?
Not at all. I mean, I go into each fight, prepared 100%, but, he got the victory.
He was able to control, Al Bernstein and Amir said, the pace and the tempo of this fight and the style. Why was he able to, and the adjustment that you weren't able to make?
I was rushing in with his head, But like I said, we worked on it in the gym. I was supposed to capitalize on that with him running in. I didn't follow the game plan as much, so, he got it off.
Back to the drawing board now?
Definitely.
Devon, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Okay. All right, Mo, back to you.
All right, Jim, a disappointed Devon Alexander, but a jubilant Shawn Porter. And Al, let's take a look at the official scoring for this championship bout.
Two of the judges with a 4-point margin and a little closer on Julie Letterman's scorecard. She thought some of those middle rounds probably in later rounds that were close went to him. And in our unofficial scoring, a bigger margin for Steve and Amir, but I had a 4-point victory, as did two of the judges for Shawn Porter. So we agreed with the judges.
Well, Porter won both of the two championship rounds to win the title. That's how close it was. Let's go now to BK.